we've seen this with Injective in March, we've seen this with Polkadot in March, we've seen this with other coins in March when they did absolutely amazing, and then all of a sudden, bang, down exactly when you least expected it. When everyone is hyping it up on X, buy, boom, that's when you're going to get wrecked. Injective has been performing really well ever since this pullback that we've seen from 2460 all the way down to 1854. I managed to get a really good entry here close to the bottom, and I did exit at 2044, unfortunately. So the market did pull back a bit after I exited, because I actually exited around here when I saw some weakness, because I thought, this is going to probably pull back again. I thought it's just one of those temporary pops, which is going to take it back down, because usually after this kind of dump, you get a bit of a pop to the upside, and then it tends to go down, especially because it didn't really go way above this last area here of resistance. So I thought it's going to encounter some more resistance here and probably get rejected and go further down and maybe stick around this area, or perhaps even revisit $16, because we had seen that area previously. But it didn't. It just went to 1968. I did not get back in here. I probably should have when I saw it managed to somewhat stabilize and accumulate around this area, but I didn't. And now it's gone up to 2140, even 2160 at the moment at the time of doing this video. As you can see here, it is 2160 right now. It did go to 2140 and then it pulled back a bit to 2049. And then started going back up. I probably should have made an entry here, because there's a good chance that this is going to continue to go higher, but I'm not entirely sure either. So it's a bit of a risky one, given that it does encounter some resistance here. It's not a lot of resistance, so it could potentially break it, and then it could go to around 2250, which would be this area here that we've previously seen, which did act as resistance until it managed to break above it. So it all depends on Bitcoin's price now, because as you know, with all altcoins, it does depend on Bitcoin a lot. They're ruled by Bitcoin, and very few times they actually get run-ups independently like Sui did. Sui did excellent. It performed amazingly well. And so what am I going to do? I mean, if this continues to go higher, so be it. I'm just going to wait and see whenever I get a pullback opportunity, then I'm going to make an entry. Of course, my bag is going to be smaller, but for me, that's okay, because my aim is to stack up on USDT, on stable coins, just in case the market takes a big dump. And so I'm just going to continue to play these pullbacks and then buy back in as soon as I see some kind of strength. If I see it wanting to move back up, I'll be buying back in, and I'll try to ride that, and then I'll try to sell as soon as I see some momentum being lost, and then follow the same pattern over and over again, just to capitalize on that, because it does seem to be better than staking, at least in a bull market. So if the bull market isn't truly over, if the bull market is still here and we are looking to go much higher, then there's a good chance that perhaps we will see higher highs than before. Perhaps we will see levels similar to that of March 2024, or maybe even higher, perhaps, right? But it all depends on Bitcoin. Bitcoin drives the market overall, just like the S&P 500 in stocks. If that goes up, usually other stocks do well. Of course, some of them are independent, just like you see in crypto, but most of the time, Bitcoin is what's ruling them. So as you can see here, if we look at the bigger picture, you could see this area here acted as a very good support here, when I bought into Injective. But unfortunately, I did exit a bit too soon here. I didn't give it enough time to hopefully do something, because what happened here is, because it had so much strength here, so much buying power, I thought with all this selling, it's likely not going to go back to that hype momentum so soon, because look what happened before. When we dumped here, it took a while for it to really move back up here. Of course, not a lot of time, it was quite a short period of time here, just a couple of days, but it did take a while. It did pull back a bit here, and then it continued to go higher, and then another pullback, and this one did take longer to recover, as you can see here, from the 1st of September until the 9th of September, when we started to change position here into the uptrend. And so now with this massive uptrend that we've seen here, between the 9th of September when it started until the 1st of October, so almost a full month of uptrend here, I thought, this is it. The downtrend is here. It's pulled back, it went up a bit. Now's my chance to sell, because this thing is probably going to go further down. It's probably going to revisit this area here, probably going to stick around 1760, which would be a really nice buying opportunity here. I've actually placed some orders around there. because I do want to buy in if it does touch that area of 1760, simply because this has acted as really strong support before here, and I just got to go by that. And about the same here as well, although it did drop lower here, but overall it was around 1680 to 17 here. So this 17 to 1750 area, even like you could say a range, you could give it a range of like 16 to 1750, and I think that's a really good range for Injective to be acting as good support, strong support for good buying opportunities. Of course, not financial advice, but this is what I'm personally doing. I see this as a good buying opportunity, and so I'm taking this. And now all I can do is wait and see what happens here. Given that it is going up now, this is not a good buying opportunity for me, given that, I don't want to be FOMOing in here. Of course, it could go much higher, but then if it does, then it's going to break this area here. And as soon as it pulls back and then I see another attempt to go higher, that's when I'm going to be buying back in, because I'm not going to be buying in when it's on the red, because you don't know how low this thing could go, right? It could revisit $16 all of a sudden from here, to be honest. It could happen, right? It's anyone's guess. But again, like I said, Bitcoin drives the market, and so depending on what Bitcoin's going to do, that's what we're going to see Injective do. So for now, I'm going to wait and see what happens. And to take a quick look at Sui here, I mean, this has been on a massive run, and this is obviously market maker involvement here, because look, Sui has been doing terribly with all this dumping from $1 all the way down to 50 cents, even below that, 47 cents, incredible. And then from 47 cents in early August, when everyone thought Sui is dead, if you would have bought in, you would have gotten that 4x. It would have been so nice. And given the current price of Sui, it's kind of hard to say where this thing is going to go. I mean, it has pulled back here, and it did manage to find good support around 165 here. And then it rode this nicely. It stayed way above this moving average here. It didn't want to go below it, so it's quite obvious in an uptrend still. It doesn't want to go back down yet, so it hasn't changed trend. We'll see when it decides to do that, because again, the market makers are the ones that decide it. When market makers are going to say, okay, we've had enough, VCs have finished dumping, guys, start selling. This could happen. So when that happens, the trend is going to change, and then you're going to see Sui drop below 150 like a stone, because that's usually what happens. We've seen this with Injective in March. We've seen this with Polkadot in March. We've seen this with other coins in March, when they did absolutely amazing, and then all of a sudden, bang, down exactly when you least expected it. When everyone is hyping it up on X, buy, boom, that's when you're going to get wrecked. And so there's a good chance it's going to repeat itself, just like we've seen with other coins. So yeah, I'm not trying to FUD Sui or anything. I mean, it's a great project. It's like Aptos, it's the Meta team that are working on this. So of course it does have potential. Their programming language, they're attracting devs to build dApps on there. So there are a lot of dApps on Sui already, but many of them weren't actually picking up a lot of users, and there wasn't a lot of demand, because it is a very young ecosystem. But now, given all this attention with the Sui price, people are going to be interested, and so they're going to be investing in this ecosystem. That's what I think, And so could this be the next Aptos? Perhaps it could be, but it's kind of hard to say. So we'll have to see what the market makers decide, because it's ultimately them causing this. Of course, leverage traders as well, because they see an opportunity to buy and to long. And then when they get liquidated, then, most people are probably going to short. And, it's the domino effect of the dumping when the trend changes, because no trend continues to go up forever. Remember that. So just be careful here with Sui. Very, very risky one. If you're trading it, it's okay, because you'd usually have a stop loss. But if you're just buying, hoping that it's going to continue to go higher, it's super dangerous buying at peaks like this when we don't know what could happen with the market. So just be careful. That's all from today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.